Midway point in turn 7 in Breitenfeld, we're just seeing the Imperials starting their assault. They're crossing the river, trying to get some leverage there. They disrupted one cav unit, which is about all they could hope for, but it may not be enough. They've got an exposed flank of their own now in the lead. They're also charging forward to try to take advantage of the missing space on the Swedish line. The infantry is moving forward to try to fill in some of the gaps that they've left. They're leaving a huge hole in the center, which the Swedes could conceivably march towards, but chances are they're probably going to use strip troops off the guns and use them to try to fill in the line and make the fight the one that the Imperials are choosing, which is allowing the Swedes to be on the defensive, which should be easier. Since the Imperials have the momentum, I've been doing this at the end of their turns instead of both turns or whatever. This is midway through turn 8 then. And we see Tilly has broken through and done a lot of damage over on the extreme left flank of the Swedish army. And likewise, I don't know who the hell's here. Let's see who this is. It's Pappenheim. Hey, he died here. Is attempting to exploit some of the breaks in the line. Remember, there's no rigid zone of controls in this game, so you really do have to defend every hex or suffer the consequences. Now, obviously, I'm taking risks, but this was one that Pappenheim thought worth exploiting. He didn't get any traction with it, so he's going to pay a price for going in there. But this is going to turn into a whirling mass at this point, if I remember this game well, because everybody ends up disordered after attacks, so there's advantages to trying to kill off those units before they recover, and they can do damage again. But you keep exposing your own units. Right now the casualty pile looks horrific for the Swedes. Their cav is pretty much destroyed. Well, they've lost a lot of it. They've also lost a couple of big units. They're at 23. The Imperials are still at 19 and are probably going to get the bonus pretty easily. So the Swedes took a dramatic reaction. I want to catch that. They pulled away from Tilly's attack entirely, and they concentrated on these guys who came through the swamp. Disordered both of them, but now they're formed up into a little oval. And if you remember how well the Schiltron worked in back in the Men of Iron series, I suspect we're not going to see anything good coming of this for the Swedes. On the other hand, it definitely is to their defensive advantage. It allows them to cover their spaces a little better. Not well. They still got holes that are going to be exploited, I think. But it also gives them all those cannon to get more opportunities to fire. You cannot give them up. What's the cool thing about the cannon in this is normally, I mean, the Swedes start out with a lot more cannon. They've been remarkably ineffectual compared to the Imperial cannon in this particular scenario. So I think that's actually been a major factor in why the Swedes aren't doing so well. You could also say my incompetence, but I usually do much better with the Swedes. Actually, usually they win. So this is kind of exciting for me to see the Imperials getting their licks back in on this game. Midway through turn 9, the Imperials are increasing the pressure on the Swedish line. Still trying to keep away from those guns. They took some damage from them and haven't recovered from it yet. But they're trying to put some pressure down here on these cav, and they've mostly succeeded. They also made an attack across the river, and mixed results. Swedes pull in tighter, get rid of another big Imperial infantry unit. And they got a big gap open here. It's not really possible to exploit that right away, but a threat there could force them to pull off that river line entirely. And we're seeing that very exploit underway. The Imperials got a lucky cannon shot, disordered a unit, piled on a couple of heavy infantry, ran their cav up into range, and now the Swedish position has to get a little smaller. That Imperial artillery is doing a bang-up job right now. They managed to knock another hole. Well, another unit that could be picked on, which is now dead. We've got getting closer to that demoralization on the Swedish. They're above 50 now. And they lose a couple more big units, and things are going to look real ugly for them real fast. Even so, this ain't a walk in the park for the Imperials. One of the lead units on their exploit got smacked by artillery, disordered, and boom, big Swedish unit walks in and kills it. And they're not all that far from being demoralized either. Yeah, they're only at 40, but their values actually are a little lower. We're here at the top of the 16th turn, and not a lot's happened. The Imperials lost another unit. Swedish artillery hit it, and a big Swedish unit marched in to attack. That Swedish unit's been weakened and will probably be destroyed now. This is probably about the end of the game, though. We'll just finish it up, but I don't think anybody's getting demoralized. Well, another little bit of excitement. The Swedes managed to get a lucky shot off and finish off the unit up on the hill there, which puts the Imperials close to what they need to be demoralized. They're about one big unit away. And the Swedes also managed to shoot a big unit. They engaged it and didn't get anything. But they did crack that cav that was in the swamp. Got one more turn left.